Hello everyone, welcome to the show. This is your boy Alexander Khan. So we finally did it. We released the Snyder Cut. Man, what a journey. For those who are joining in, thank you and welcome. And if you have any questions, please drop any comments or questions in the live chat. I'll reply any questions. Shout out to Mr. Philly Swain, Koj, DTS, Vinaldo, and Fiona, and everyone in the movement, who's been involved. All our differences aside, we made it happen for Zach. Shout out to my Tiger Spartans, Jabed, Ashraf. I think there's also Rezanul or Rezaul. He's on Twitter. So on and so forth. So yeah, we did it. And I've been so ecstatic. I can't wait for 2021 to be here. So yeah, and also welcome to Monster Hunter World. It's a fun game. I'm live from PlayStation 4. So yeah, that's about it. Hope everyone is staying safe. Everyone's staying good with their family. Social distancing and everything. We all want to make it to 2021 because the Snyder Cut is coming, so the Snyderverse is back. Excited about that. What else? Henry Cavill will be returning. I hope Ben Affleck comes back and does his solo movie. I have no problem with DC doing multiverses now. So that's all good. But at the same time, you know me, anyone who knows me, once you get the quality that Zack Snyder did, you just don't want to, bring it down. I mean, they're literally the casting and the visual quality of Zack Snyder. It's just straight out of the comics. And if anyone tells me otherwise, either they're blind or whatever. To each his own. Like, now that the Snyder Cut is coming out, I could really not care about, Matt Reeves' Batman, whether that succeeds or fails. I might probably go watch Wonder Woman 84, depends on my mood, because even though I love Gal Gadot and she showed support for the movement, I am not a huge fan of Patty Jenkins. As a lot of people within the movement, as we're speculating, they did not, like all of the directors who were removed and all the directors who stayed behind, Patty Jenkins and James Wan. I mean, nobody congratulated Zach yet, so I wonder why. I think they made their bed with Jeff Johns, who is, let's say, in our own local language, kuttar bachcha, definite kuttar bachcha. So yeah, that's about it. So yeah, and also if there's any hunters within the movement, my friends, whoever plays Monster Hunter World, just add me up. I'd love to do hunts with you. So let me just get prepared before I get my ass kicked. So yeah, I mean, there's so many news that are happening. Oh yeah, so the Access Media, right? So people like, who are the Access Media? Access Media are basically people who get, first day or behind the scenes, or, they get to be the test audience for, big companies and corporates. So, and they always get, behind the scenes information or access to lots of IPs, which in turn, helps. Not help, which they use to make their living through YouTube and other various social media platforms. And these they're synonymously known as the pundits. the wise men and women who know, what the industry is about, how it works. So to name a few, there's Collider. Everybody knows Collider, and then there is the infamous John Campea. So right now, and people must have heard someone like a particular person, a particular black person named Jody and his friend Andy Sinor, who are literally against the Snyder Cut movement, and they were the ones who were pushing the narrative that Snyder Cut does not exist, Warner Brothers won't pay for it, yada yada yada. But hey, we made the impossible happen, and I would like to say again to everyone who has been a part of the movement, whether you've been on the front lines in Twitter or on Facebook, just using the hashtag. We all appreciate it. Zach appreciates it. So thank you, and I can't wait. And so yeah. So the streaming services that are now taking over the world, like first there was cable, before that there were the theaters. So now that the streaming wars have started, HBO, Disney Plus, Netflix, and Amazon Prime, they have a lead on the race. But if these streaming services take in the model to let directors finish their vision and be creatively fluid and let them do their thing, then I think we have a lot of good things to look forward to. Like look at Mandalorian as an example. So even though Kathleen Kennedy ruined the sequel franchise with bringing in directors or enforcing their political messages or political ideas or whatever, even with all that, all of those could have been forgiven if narratively, if any of the movies made sense. Like after Force Awakens and Rogue One, they just went completely, like, I don't know what they did to the movies. Like Last Jedi literally broke me. But what's worse, that J.J. Abrams in Rise of the Skywalker made a movie that makes, The Last Jedi seem more cohesive. Because the Rise of Skywalker was just awful. It was just awful. And it was just a cash grab. Whereas Mandalorian, where I have been, championing Dave Filoni to run the franchise since the beginning, because he is the one, like how Marvel has Kevin Feige. It's obvious that DC needs Zack Snyder. Then Star Wars needs Dave Filoni to run the ship. Sadly, with the situation as it is, Dave Filoni has shown success with the Mandalorian franchise critically and with the fans and with the viewers. So, I think that's the direction they should go in. So if they're even considering another, saga movie, Dave Filoni has to be there to make sure that everything is on point. So, yeah. Eventually things will be really good. So we'll get lots of good content, and hopefully, in terms of DC, we get to see the Snyderverse rise, which we all want. People have been calling us the Snyder Cut fans is not DC fans, but they have to understand that, oh, by the way, I just cut off his tail. So they have to understand that everyone who went to watch BVS or Man of Steel and became Zack Snyder fans are DC fans. It's just Zack has given us such a good version, we just can't get over it. In terms of, interpretation, in terms of visual representation. I mean, imagine the riots that would have happened if they replaced Robert Downey Jr. after Avengers 1. Or they said, alright, let us just, cancel the whole Avengers saga and let us just reverse everything and just go with, whatever. So, and also at the same time, Marvel has their formula, and you have to respect that. They made the money. Does it work for everybody? No, but those are enjoyable movies and they made their money. Regardless of our opinions, they have fans. If they didn't have fans, they wouldn't make that much money. So Zack was doing his own thing. He wasn't particularly using the Marvel formula, But what Zack did was he literally connected the movies. Like, if you watch the opening of Batman v Superman, it literally shows you from a different POV, like from Batman's POV, he was there. He was there during the final battle in Metropolis. So that sets up so many, like, you know, a different precedence of having a connected universe. And then with the death of Superman, spoiler alert from BBS if you haven't seen it. So the fallout from his death, you know, it's the Suicide Squad, you know, the government reacting and everything. But even sadly, Suicide Squad with the previous regime of the stupid Warner Brothers, you know, even they reacted so much because they were too greedy and chasing the Marvel money that creatively they could not bet on Zack Snyder's vision. I mean, yeah, there are other good DC movies, but which DC movies right now is holding a conversation 4 years later? You know, there's so many hidden nuances and Easter eggs in BVS and Man of Steel. It's like, oh my god, you can just have, like, you know, whole hour-based conversations non-stop. And it's just so amazing how much Zack, you know, knows these characters, knows the interpretation, understands the impact of it. So, where Marvel movies take you to the world of Marvel, Zack Snyder brought the DC to our world, especially in these troubled times, where everything is literally political. You know, gender has become a political issue. I mean, race is a big issue now more than ever. So all these things, and you know, Zack's interpretation of how our world will react if beings that question our existence, our fate, suddenly start showing up. This is exactly how they would react. I mean, like, just see what happened is because an entertainer, entrepreneur won the presidency and the whole world lost its shit. So, if people are reacting to pan president this way, imagine how they would react if literally a Superman showed up. I mean, I think there's this fan film on YouTube that everyone should check out. It's called The Flying Man. And it's a short movie, but I think it's a movie that everyone should see. And I was lucky enough to see it before BVS, that when I saw BVS and the fallout from people's reaction and everything, it just made sense, because as a society, we are not equipped to handle this kind of situation. Like, you know, look at my country, you know, I give a huge shout out to our PM for trying her best, but Bangladesh and many countries, developing countries like ours, were not equipped to deal with a pandemic like this. So, yeah, you know, I have faith in Zack, and I hope Ben Affleck comes back, because he is the best Batman in my opinion. And I would love to see more. Yeah, okay. You know, it seems like I'm getting my ass whooped, but I'm trying to hold a conversation while concentrating on what this guy does. So that's the beauty of this game, you know. You just can't take it for granted. See, that was a counter. And then he countered me, so yeah, it's all good. It's hard to believe that, you know, 3 years went by just like that, and we finally have the announcement. I mean, you know, we just had our Eid, you know, celebration, so belated Eid Mubarak to everyone. But my Eid, my Christmas, my everything for the last 3 years, Zack gave it to me on the 20th. So, you know, it's like my life has paused back in 2017 with Justice League and The Last Jedi, and thanks to Zack, you know, it's back on again. So I am pretty excited. I mean, I can't even express it. Like, if anybody knows me, you know, it's usually Gibran who I speak all these, you know, comic stuff with. You know, he called me when the announcement happened, and he saw my live reaction. I literally broke down in tears. I couldn't believe it. I mean, it was a 10-star off. I mean, this has never happened in the history of Hollywood or anything. So it was quite an achievement. And again, I would have to emphasize, not a single person did it themselves. It was all of us, all over the world. We were united. And that's the beauty of it. Every one of us, different race, different culture, different languages, but we all spoke the same thing. It's the Snyder Cut. Give us back our DCEU. So, yeah, it's just amazing. It's just amazing. And, you know, I'm so excited. Zack released his first image of Darkseid, color, but before he could not release a color. And, you know, people are like, you know, right now we're hearing that they're investing more. And yeah, I'm one of those people who are hoping that it becomes a series, because a series means more Zack, more DCEU. So I want more. So the more the merrier. So yeah. And also, like, right now, everyone during 2016, you know, which has been labeled by the fans as the BVS Wars. The BVS Wars, something that I was oblivious about was that after BVS came out, the Access Media went head over heels. Like, they went beyond, like, beyond their way. They went out of their way to make this movie seem critically and financially flop, but it didn't. It made good amount of money. And if it did suffer in the box office or critically, that again is also the studio's fault, because they tampered with the movie. They did not release the movie as Zack wanted to. So anyone who has seen, you know, the BVS Ultimate Edition knows that that's the version that was originally screened to the execs, and that's the version Zack wanted to release on screen, which was more cohesive. But, you know, Warner Brothers being Warner Brothers, they hired someone, or they got someone to edit out important plot points to the movie, which is as stupid as it gets. So, but then again, for their stupidity, who got the blame? Zack Snyder. So, yeah. So now, after the whole story of Justice League, you know, it's ironic that it was fans who saved the league, you know. So I'm excited, and yeah. I'm hoping to do more content now that, you know, I have a bit more free time, and I'm hoping to hopefully, you know, make it more regular. I just have to figure out a few software issues, because right now my PC is really not in a good place. But yeah. So yeah, right now in terms of the movement, what we're doing, we are thanking HBO Max, we're supporting, and again, I just want to remind everyone that whoever's in America who has access to HBO Max, he or she should subscribe to them as soon as possible and put it up on Twitter by tagging AT&T and HBO Max to show our support that yes, you know, this is the right decision. And I would request everyone to not pirate this, you know, the Justice League Snyder Cut when it comes out, because we have to make it commercially successful. So please buy it on digital or Blu-ray or whatever format it comes out in. You know, buy 10 copies or 20 copies, you know, however much you want, and so on and so forth. You know, that's how it is. You know, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna buy 10 copies of the movie. just for myself. I want the Snyderverse to succeed so we can have more, you know, um, more Snyderverse, a more cohesive DCEU. So yeah, again. So let's see. Oh, funny story. So I never watched Man of Steel when it first came out. Because before I never really bothered with who the directors of a movie were. Because I watched the movies for what they were. If it was good, if I enjoyed it, I enjoyed it. If I didn't enjoy it, I didn't enjoy it. But there were a few household names growing up, and the obvious were Steven Spielberg, James Cameron, George Lucas. These were just household names. So every time they made anything, you'd go watch it and you'd be entertained. And then came the next generation of directors like Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez and many others. And the Wachowski brothers, now sisters, they made the Matrix franchise, which I think in 1997 when we all saw the Matrix, it blew our bloody mind. So jumping forward, I did not know who Zack Snyder was because I hate zombie movies. I really can't stand zombie movies. I don't know why. It just doesn't click with me. Even the concept of zombies doesn't click with me. So, I didn't know who Zack Snyder was. So I never watched Dawn of the Dead. But, then 300 came out. And when I saw the trailer for 300, I was like, holy shit. There's like awesome action, and it just visually just captured your attention. So, like, when I saw 300, I was like, oh my god, it was like nothing I had ever seen before in my life. It was like one of those movies that just from the get-go, it just captures your attention. So, yeah, and then, at the end credit, I saw the name Zack Snyder. So then, I saw the Christopher Nolan franchise, the Batman Begins, which is not one of my most favorite movies, but there were certain instances in the first Batman, the Nolan verse Batman. In the first one, there was hints of comic, scenes that were like very accurate to the comic, to the source material. Like when he picks up Falcone and says, I'm Batman, and all those scenes and how he's fighting those goons. So Batman Begins ended with a great cliffhanger, and we had the Joker card. Funny thing, before Heath Ledger was cast, back then in school days, I used to have a lot of conversations with my old batchmates or friends from school, and I was one of the few people who actually said Heath Ledger would be a great Joker, simply because I saw him in The Knight's Tale, and that guy had a smile. Like, naturally, he had a big, white, grinning smile. So I was like, he'd be very interesting. And my friends were like, not really, I don't see it. I'm like, well, let's see. And then when he was announced as Joker, I was laughing my head off. So I thought we would see a version of Joker, but then, as everyone would agree, that the Dark Knight movie you know, more than Bale's Batman, you know, Heath Ledger carried it on his shoulders. I'm sorry, I'm not, Bale's Batman was, at his time, he was the best, but you have to agree, Joker carried the movie. And Two-Face, you know, so yeah, that's that. And then, sadly, we lost, Heath Ledger, and, it moved on. The Dark Knight Rises, it's like I enjoy the movie for what it is, but it is one of the most dragged out movies in terms of superhero movies. And when I say dragged out, I mean, just at times it just seems very incoherent to me. I mean, it has the Nightfall and the Nightrise arc built into it, which was obvious because Bane was being introduced. But the age progression of Bruce Wayne from Dark Knight to Dark Knight Rises, and how they portrayed him, wasn't really one of my most favorite. But I enjoyed everybody else. The supporting cast was great. Talia al Ghul was very disappointing. I thought they'd pick someone much more squeaky. Also Catwoman. I mean, Anne Hathaway. I mean, the only good movie of her that I enjoyed as a kid was, The Princess Diary or something. And since then, she does all these dramatic, overly dramatic, serious movies. And, I have like a mild ADD. So unless you really catch my attention, I was really disappointed with Anne Hathaway being cast. And it's a running joke between me and my friend Gibran, who says that, Christopher Nolan, has, always cast the ugliest girls for his movies. So, yeah, but I'm not saying Anne Hathaway is ugly, it's just she wasn't right for the role. In other movies, like I loved Anne Hathaway in Ocean's 8. So, yeah, go figure. So The Dark Knight Rises, it was what it was. It was the closing chapter of the trilogy. But by then, Marvel had already been, had their plans in motion. So Man of Steel was announced, and Christopher Nolan was attached, and Zack Snyder was the director. But interesting thing was that I never liked Superman. I mean, even as a kid, I found him boring, and even visually, I found him to be aesthetically, he was also boring. With blue, red, like I didn't get the whole Boy Scout thing. Batman, well, if you don't like Batman, there's just something wrong. And especially Kevin Conroy that did the animated series. I mean, everyone who reads comics has that voice. And, anyone who's played any of the Arkham games know that, that is the definitive, for all ages. I mean, in the big screen, it's Ben Affleck, but it's Kevin Conroy throughout the ages. It will always be Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill as Joker. So that's the situation. So I didn't see Man of Steel. I regret not seeing it when it first came out. My friend Gibran was right. He told me to see it, but I was like, dude, it's Superman. I can't. But then, when I saw SDCC, the announcement, I could not, hold on at all. Yeah. I mean, when Harry Lennox did the, my hand at your throat, I literally lost my shit. That not only we just got the Nolanverse, we are getting a new Batman. So I literally, then I started studying up on Zack Snyder, watched Man of Steel and blew my mind. Like, holy shit, I like Superman for once in my life. He isn't boring. He has so much depth. You can relate to him on a human level, which I never did, from the cartoons, and I never read Superman comics. But yeah, I read all the Batman comics. Because, yeah, to me, DC, I tell my friends and everyone who, debates with me or talks to me about comic books, or for me it's about the character, and if there's a specific character that I like, I only follow their arc. So in terms of Marvel, I read a lot of Marvel comics, but that was mostly because I was reading the Wolverine, because Wolverine is my favorite Marvel character, and Deadpool. So I only read their comics, because none of the other Marvel characters really ever intrigued me. I enjoy them on the big screen, but on paper, nah. So my love for X-Men comes from the fact that, I get to watch Wolverine and Gambit too, but mostly Wolverine. Anyways, so with DC, it has always been Batman, and whoever teams up with Batman, whether it be Superman or Wonder Woman. But Wonder Woman has always been like, he's babe. Like Catwoman and Wonder Woman is like, babe. So yeah. Anyways, so yeah, then BVS came out. I remember we went there, all of us, all the geeks. Some of them were lucky to watch it 4 times in 24 hours. I don't know how they did that. Maybe they knew the people who ran our Star Cineplex, but they saw it, and the movie just, I remember we were like, every shot I was just baffled and just mesmerized, and I was like screaming at Gibran. It's like, dude, what the hell are we seeing? What the hell is this? Is this visually possible? Is this what CBN movies can do? And I remember like the first time I saw Batfleck, when he saves those slaves, and that scene where the cop, and behind him, he's creeping on the wall. I was like, holy shit, that is one scary Batman. Like, if I walked into my room and I saw that, I'd shit myself. I was like, oh my god, Zack got it right. He got the whole Batman and the, how he uses theatricality and fear to fight the Gotham villains. I was like, oh my god. And what else can I say? Everything about that movie, like, from, okay, this is getting ridiculous, we're just running around in circles, but yeah. So, everything about the movie, I mean, it was just perfect. And that's the theatrical version. The ultimate cut just made it even better. I went and watched that movie on theater 3 times because we all have a job. But even still, I went and watched it with my friends. And sadly, the biggest tragedy of my life, that my best friend, who, more or less we grew up with a lot of similar, tastes. My best friend does not like BVS, and I don't hold it against him because Kuzi, you ain't smart enough to get this movie anyway. But regardless, to each his own. Our friendship is still there, though at times I wonder why. But yeah, and I mean the Martha scene, it broke us. I mean, I think we were a whole aisle just crying, and at the same time, it's like, holy shit, we knew the name, but we never put 2 and 2 together. We never figured it out that it was, their names, both Batman and Superman, their mother's names were Martha. We never figured that out. So that was like, oh fuck. Like, that was a holy shit moment for all of us. And yeah, so Zack knows. He knows the deep cuts. So for DC, I have faith in Zack to give us. I mean, just look at the casting he did. When he announced Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, people were like, no, she's not buff enough. She's so, she's too much like a model. She needs muscles. But now they can't stop kissing her ass. Because Zack did it first and he did it better. So yeah, and even with Aquaman, I mean, Zack knows these characters so well, and that's why he casts them perfectly every time. I mean, it's just too good. And no matter how much Walter Hamada and Warner Brothers tries now that Snyder Cut is out of the bag, they are screwed, man. There's no way they'll hold up in terms of quality, visual storytelling, narrative storytelling to what Zack has done and will do. And hopefully, we'll be able to make the movie succeed enough that AT&T goes like, alright, Warner Brothers, you do your own thing, whereas we, the AT&T, will work with Zack and make movies exclusively for HBO Max. So that way, all the snowflake generation who is up for Matt Reeves and Shazam and all those other awful movies. Oh, somebody joined me in the fight. Hey, online multiplayer. Yay. So yeah. Lovely. So we get the Snyderverse and the shared universe, because DC is known for having multiverses. So we have that on HBO Max. Wouldn't that be awesome? So, self-proclaimed cinephiles who love, a different interpretation of many different characters can go watch Twinkle Bat. I am not going to watch Twinkle Bat because I cannot. We've had the version, or at least aesthetically, what Matt Reeves is going for. We already have had that, and Nolan did it. We've had a trilogy for that. So it boggles my mind that it's Jeff Johns, basically. Jeff Johns, John Berg, Kevin Tsujihara, all these assholes, they took Ben Affleck's Batman movie away from him, and now these assholes are gone, so luckily that's good. So yeah, the age of heroes has come again, as Wonder Woman said it, as Batman said it has to, and I think we made it happen. The fans saved the league. So I'm excited. I am over the moon excited. I mean, I've been hyped for the last 7 days. I just can't get over it. It's oh my god, it still feels like a dream. Because you have to understand, everyone, even people I know who enjoyed BVS, even they were listen, we'll only watch it when it comes out, if and when it comes out. We're not bothered. But yeah, they still, they showed some sort of support, but even then, it doesn't matter. We made it happen, and to have justice for the cast and crew, and for Zack Snyder and his daughter, poor girl, I don't know the circumstances which led to her taking her own life, and to everyone who's listening or will be listening to this, there's always a way. You don't need to end it. Just talk to someone. If you can't deal with, situations or whatnot, just talk it out. So, yeah. Wonder Woman 84, again, like I said, I'm very indifferent towards this movie because I have no idea how much they have neutered Wonder Woman, so that really depends on what they have done. Because, Patty Jenkins is oh, the use of weapons is very something. So, it's stuff like this that really, discourages me from supporting a filmmaker whenever they bring in any political, viewpoint into a movie. Especially with characters like Wonder Woman, who is a warrior, Amazonian warrior god. And they're treating her oh no, she's a pacifist. Yeah, Wonder Woman, if anyone has read any of the comics, she has the least qualms about making sure of chopping someone's head off. Which, luckily, spoiler alert, we'll be seeing in the Snyder Cut. So yeah. For the one viewer who's staying and watching, thank you. I hope you're enjoying the show. You know, this Monster Hunter World released the Snyder Cut stream. And and also, you know, like the Air cut, poor David Ayer, even he didn't get to release the movie that he made, which I might remind everyone that tested really positively with the test screenings. But then, typical Warner Brothers and Jeff Johns, Jeff Johns wants to see, like, I don't know what's wrong with Jeff Johns, I don't get him. I mean, the only good thing anyone can say about him is that he's one of those people who has been with DC for such a long time, but all he does is how many good series did he write? I mean, except for one good Green Lantern run, what else did he write? Anyways, so he just, his ego and his desire to be whatever. One day he will answer for these questions. One day someone will corner him and ask him, like, what happened? And who knows? We'll know back then. Why was he so against Snyder's vision? Well, the stories are out there, and if anyone's interested, it goes way back. It goes way back to Christopher Nolan. And it all started with Batman Begins. So, yeah. If anyone's interested, leave a like and in the comments, and we'll have a discussion about that. Why there was such a rift between the comic writers and creators versus the filmmakers during the early years of DCEU. And it did not only start from DCEU, it started from, the Dark Knight franchise. And I'll tell you something, the Man of Steel succeeded because Christopher Nolan specifically told Warner Brothers that keep your comic guys away from my film set, because he was the executive producer, and that never went down well with Jeff Johns. He's like, what? You're not gonna allow me? Well, he made Green Lantern, so, and he's proud of the Green Lantern movie. Go figure. So yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Ryan Reynolds. He's such a good actor, and for him to suffer like this because of choices not made by him, but made by, the studio or Jeff Johns. I can't believe they gave the same guy who scripted or was part of the Green Lantern movie another shot at making the Green Lantern series for HBO. I mean, that has Jeff Johns written all over it. Him and his buddies are stroking each other off. Fuck him. So yeah. What the heck? Yeah, so that's that. Well, what else? Whoever's watching my show or watching this broadcast, thank you again, and please go check out Go Deep. It's a beautiful podcast run by Mr. West Ashley, a good man, a good father, and an avid Zack Snyder supporter, and BVS Superman Batman supporter. Also, shout out to Subjective Reviews. My man Tyler. He's cool. He's cool. He doesn't. I really annoy him in the comments and on Facebook, even on Twitter. But he always understands where I'm coming from, and I really appreciate that. So Tyler from Subjective Reviews, thank you. And who else? Many people I've met throughout this movement who have, made it possible to, for us to get to where we are now, to get the Snyder Cut. It's like a bond that we have made, and hopefully it lasts for our lifetime. What the hell happened? I don't know what happened. My broadcast went offline and it's back online again. So, okay. Anyways, sorry about the technical difficulties. But yeah, as I was saying, go check out Go Deep, check out Subjective Reviews, and many others. I can't remember them right now, but those are my usual sources. Yeah. And again, anyone who's friends with me on Facebook, if you want to hit me up, it's Alexander Khan. You'll know it's me because I have Batman and Justice League and Snyder Cut all over my profile. And if you ever want to hit me up to talk about DC or Snyderverse or anything, even video games, just shout out, hit me up. Even my Spartan brothers and sisters, if anyone wants to catch up, I'm available. Also check out Kojay's channel, Mr. Kojay. He does, custom, he's a really good dancer. First of all, he's a really good dancer and a choreographer. And also, he's a huge wrestling fan, which reminds me that, it's a huge loss for the wrestling world for the girl, Hana Kimura, who was a young, talented Japanese wrestler. But again, just like Autumn Snyder, due to bullying, she lost her. She lost her. So, my condolences to her family and friends. Hope they are coping with it, and it's just tragic that talented people like her, it's unfair to the world that young, talented individuals have to go through such harassment, whereas, in my opinion, certain jackasses get away with a lot of shit. It's just how the world works. I guess shit happens. So yeah, check out Kojay's channel. He does custom wrestling videos with people from the movement in it. It's funny, it's entertaining, and he's doing live commentary over it. And he's not controlling them. He just made the characters, and he just sets up the matches. And it's really entertaining. I hope Kojay makes one of me. I would love to go toe to toe with some of my fellow Spartans. What we do, it's funny. Also, my friend Kalio, it's K-A-L-I-O, Kalio. Check out his channel too. It's just really entertaining. He does custom videos and reviews and lots of other stuff. So shout out to Kalio. And funny thing, Kalio, without being in the know, he was one of the people who were saying that the cut is going to be announced, because he was just deep diving into everything Zack had announced, or all the pictures he has leaked and everything. Shout out to Kalio for actually figuring it out before anyone knew, or before so he figured it out. So shout out to Kalio. Because he was saying the announcement was near. I was like, dude, I love your enthusiasm, but it's just too far-fetched. But hey, he called it. And that's the level of passion that Zack Snyder's fans have. And again, I have to reiterate over and over again. we are DC fans. It's just we love to uphold our favorite heroes to a standard, and that standard has been set by Zack Snyder. I mean, look at Shazam. The production quality, the VFX quality in that was so obviously, like, you know, low budget. So yeah, exactly trust. And I'm not saying that other people can't come and, you know, make their movies. I mean, look at Suicide Squad. Even that, you know, hopefully if we get the air cut, people will finally be able to see, like, you know, what was his intended vision. What did he want to do, you know? And trust me, people are sleeping on Jared Leto. Trust me, he is one of the most comic accurate, you know, Jokers I've ever seen. Especially if you have read the Endgame, the Batman run by Scott Snyder, Endgame and pre-Endgame. And you completely see that visually, aesthetically, you know, he is like there to represent those arcs. And trust me, against Ben Affleck's Batman, if you're gonna put in Joaquin Phoenix, dude, as we say in a local language, so that, you know, that movie, you know, it must be a good movie. I haven't seen it, but that's not the Joker. It's an interpretation of the Joker mythos, but that's not the Joker, guys. I'm sorry. Heath Ledger was the Joker. You know, one of the greatest cinematic Jokers ever. But I'm so excited to see more of Jared Leto's Joker, because I know he'll be able to pull off a Joker that can stand toe to toe with Ben Affleck's Batman. Because Ben Affleck's Batman is the greatest Batman on the screen for me. So no matter what you say, QZ, that's the truth. So all those people, people who don't know this game, it's called Monster Hunter World with the Iceborne expansion pack. And I set out an SOS signal, so all these people are other players who have jumped in to help me kill this guy. So yeah. The reason why I send out the SOS is because it makes it easier for me to have, you know, to keep on talking without concentrating way too much. Because if I concentrate too much, I won't be able to play. And then you'll have to see me die embarrassingly. now I'm just farming for parts and I'm not being able to hit it with my move. But yeah, I poisoned it. Knocked him out. But trust me, people might think, okay, this game is weird because 4 guys are beating on this idiot. Trust me, when you face them out into the world, crap, this guy is annoying. Yeah, so right now I'm playing this arena event where I'm just farming for materials to upgrade my armor. So yeah, if there's any specific game that anyone would like me to play and to cover, just let me know. Well, anyways, guys, thanks a lot for joining in. I think, it's been an hour, nearly an hour. So I'll leave it here today. Thank you for joining and thank you for, your support. Please subscribe, like, and share. And see you next time. Kuzi out.